Well, we are finishing the year 2019, and boy, I am glad. This has been a grueling year if you have to follow the news, as I'm required to do as a TV commentator and publisher of a daily newsletter. I'm frankly sick of the never-ending serial attempts to overturn the election results of all the way back in 2016. I mean, remember when it was all about Russia and collusion? And then there was the Mueller report and how it fizzled. Even though taxpayers, that would be you, spent about $35 million for a desperate attempt to implicate President Trump. Then we heard obstruction of justice until that bombshell became a dud. Then it was quid pro quo, then extortion, then bribery, then obstruction of Congress. Frankly, given how recklessly irresponsible Congress is, obstructing Congress ought to be grounds for a prize, not an impeachment. Come on. But Democrats in Congress clearly are frantic because they've had a pretty weak field of candidates, and they fear that not one of them can defeat a president who has juiced the economy, jobs, the stock market, and wages, and who has pushed back against bad trade deals and also pushed back against America getting sucker punched by foreign governments. We were once content to let the U.S. pay all the bills for NATO, suck up the trade deficits, have endless wars in the Middle East. Now, granted, President Trump isn't always artful in what he says or how he says it, but he is disrupting the deep state of globalism, institutionalism, and bureaucracy. And the powers of government, media, and big business, oh, they're fighting back. Now, they're not fighting back to protect your interest, but theirs. So next year is 2020, and I'll attempt to give you 2020 vision into what we can expect for the coming year, which, of course, will also be a presidential election year. Here's what I predict. I predict Joe Biden will slightly edge socialist Bernie Sanders, and he'll be the nominee for the Democrats. And it's not because he's a good candidate, but because he'll be viewed as not as crazy as the others. Now, the media will ignore his daily verbal gaffes, and he will be presented as a seasoned and ready captain. Even though Bob Gates, who served President Obama and President Bush 43 as a cabinet member, once said of Joe Biden, he's consistent in that every single position he's taken on foreign policy is wrong. By the way, I predict Democrats will pay a heavy price for having wasted a year with do-nothingness and millions of taxpayer dollars chasing down a reason to impeach President Trump. You know, they constantly use the phrase that they can walk and chew gum at the same time. Heard that before? I don't know if you know this, but they tend to drop their gum on the ground and then get it stuck on their shoes while they try to walk on it. Voters in their districts have been benefited a lot more by the economic policies of President Trump by the phony and hateful efforts by the Democrats to impeach him. Now, in some other areas, here are my predictions. I predict Tom Brady is going to announce his retirement from the NFL, effective in the year 2045. And the World Series are going to feature the St. Louis Cardinals and the Texas Rangers. Now, not because I have any reason to actually believe that, but they're my favorite teams in their respective national and American leagues, and I just want it to happen, so I predict it. Here's my other prediction. I predict the Oscars will be canceled because no one wants to hear whiny Hollywood actors lecture us on their worthless political views. And I predict that CNN will lose so many viewers that it will cease operations as a news channel and will become a television safe space where triggered liberal snowflakes can sit in a dark room and watch a blank screen, which will vastly improve the programming CNN currently offers. Yeah. And finally, for 2020, I predict the Huckabee Show will win 6 Emmys and 10 Golden Globes for being the best show in television. And that would truly be 2020 vision. Now, if you want more videos like that one, hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell right next to it. And if you leave a comment, positive or negative, I'll be sure that my dog Toby sees it and responds to you in kind.